So hello, I haven't made a video like this in a while. I just felt called to make one today, so I'm just going to read this poem and then just a quick talk. So this poem is called The End of the Old World. The end of the old world, the birth of the new, a remnant remain, a small chosen few. Days filled with darkness, with signs in the sky, a great death upon us, the end is now nigh. The future of man hangs by a thread, the devil at work with circus and bread. The real goal of life hidden from view, the living God's word, his message to you. Now is the time to turn to the Lord. Resisting the beast, let your tongue be a sword. Speaking the truth in a world full of lies, helping God's children see this life through his eyes. The gospel of truth for all those who yearn, for mankind's salvation and the good Lord's return. Reading God's word will protect you from harm. Your soul will be soothed, your mind free from alarm. Hasten to Christ, leave your pride at the door. In the family of God, your spirit will soar. There's no time like now to trust in his word. Jesus has risen, let the good news be heard. So, yeah, that's just a poem called, I've forgotten the title of it, would you believe? The End of the Old World, yeah. So, oh, hang on. Dropping the rubbish. Yeah, the end of the old world. So that's what I think is kind of happening at the moment. A big change. I mean, we're already kind of in the middle of it, or it's starting. A lot of people are awake to it, obviously. A lot of people watching these videos are awake to it. A lot of people aren't. They're just kind of carrying on as if it's like, the thing I've noticed with a lot of people is like they're carrying on as if it's 2019 still, like nothing's happened and they're just living normally, trying to live normally. But, but then I think in 2020, the devil showed his hand, worldwide enslavement and imprisonment of all the people of the world. That's the goal, I think, for these for Satan and his minions on this earth, and I think that they're still trying to execute that plan, and they're moving forward with it. I don't think they'll succeed, but they'll do a lot of damage, and there'll be a lot of countries that will fall, and fall to this like kind of just like in Russia, they fell to communism, and then it destroyed their culture, their old folk culture, destroyed their people. The Russians became barbaric because communism does that to people. I think once you remove the spiritual nature of reality of humankind, and reduce people down to just meat robots, and then they lose their dignity and they lose their things like virtues, their honor and their sense of dignity, and their they just the divine part of themselves is obscured when it's not cultivated by spiritual practices which are encouraged by religion. But when you get rid of religion, I think that's what happens to people. It doesn't mean that they become bad people, but it's just like become kind of spiritually retarded. That's not not a politically correct term, but I mean it in its genuine sense, in that lack of growth. They don't grow properly. We don't grow properly without spiritual direction, and that's what's happening to us here in the West. We're accepting more and more of these kind of materialistic and atheistic models of reality, which don't match up at all to anybody, as far as I can tell. Only the shallowest people would accept these as as having any value. Anybody with an actual mind and a little bit of self-awareness can see like that there's a significant spiritual component to our existence, and that this has to be explored at the very least. And for me, that I've come to realize that that spiritual component is actually it's about relationship with God. That's what I think we're here for. I think life is a test, like a school. You go to school, you learn stuff. We're here to learn, but there's tests too along the way, and if you've learned it by passing the test, and so a lot of life is learning and being tested on your learning. And one of the main learnings I think in life is when we come here, we're separated from, I suppose it's, how would I put this? We're separate from God while we're here on earth. Like in consciously. We're not consciously aware of a relationship with God, but we have to cultivate it. And there's different religions have different views on God. Like just say if you pick one, like Islam, Allah is a divine force, but it's like a force. It's not a person, and it's an other. It's not really. It's hard to have a relationship with a divine other. It's impossible, actually, really, to have a deep relationship with it. But in Christianity, we have God. Jesus is God, part of the Trinity, and so he became human so that we could have a relationship with God. Because you can only really, as a human, have relationships, deep, meaningful relationships with other humans. You can have a relationship with other things too, but they're not deep, they're not meaningful, and they're not they're not really productive. They can be distracting and pleasurable at times. You can have relationships with computer games or cars or material stuff or experiences, but it's but obviously it's with people that we grow. Our relationships with people that's how we grow. That's how we learn about ourselves, through our relationships with others. And I think that's the beauty of Christianity, is that you have a relationship with God, and through Jesus, who is God, and then through that relationship you come to know not only God, but you come to know yourself, what you're really like. And then when once you're more and more aware of your shortcomings in life, then you can try to fix those, be better, because that's like an act of love, if you're aware of your shortcomings, and once you're aware of them, you can improve, try to improve, and that's like an act of love, So for me, that's what Christianity is about. Ultimately, it's about coming to into a relationship with God, and then who is love and loves you, and you grow in love for him, and then you have that no matter what strifes or challenges you have in your outside life, money problems or health problems or relationship problems or anything, government problems, and then you have that internal sense of connection, and you can it gives you strength, really, to persevere through any external difficulties that you're facing in your life.